There it is. And alright. It's live. Okay. Well, I guess it could be. Video capture device isn't even there. So there's that. Um, Maybe I'll put that there. Not even sure. Is it actually live? It must be. It says it's live. Alright, we're just playing around here. Let's see if it is live. It must be. Well, we can, this is the YouTube. We don't need that. So we can put that over there. And then, now we're, alright. Okay, so yeah, we got this. Okay, we're here. That should be good with that. And so let's go back to this chat here. Biblical principles and integrity. Yes, biblical principles and integrity was the start. Now, I didn't even actually look up the Torah portion for today yet. I think it's teeth. Boy, I guess I better look at that. Well, let's get a tab that we can use here. Where did it go? Here it is. Alright, let's pull this down. Things want to be difficult when you're trying to do something like this. And what we're going to do is 119 Ministries. See what the Torah portion for today is. And then what I want to do is I want to see if I'm actually going live. So I want to view my channel. And it does appear. Now if I click on that, yeah, it's there. It is live. So I don't expect that there will be any views or anything, but if you happen to come around, all right, I got the live stream up. Today we are discussing and sharing using AI to study the word and document our thoughts and beliefs. So listen in if you can stomach something that may trouble you at first. And I'll leave that as a pinned comment, which I think I can do. Yeah? Alright, pin message. Alright, we're pinning the message. So the viewer there, I think, is me, and that's cool. Alright, so 119 Ministries. What are we doing here today? Today what we're doing is this is nothing formal in any kind of way. So, if you don't know, the Torah portion is just pieces of the Bible. And I try not to say Bible because it's a deity. It's basically it's calling on another God. I know that's hard to believe. But if you go and do a word study and look at the etymology of that word, you'll see it. And so I'm trying to transition from saying that word to just saying Basora, or the word of Yah. Basora is the Hebrew, I believe, for the word. And so that's just something simple. It's just my constant iteration, or my constant pursuit of growth. And so I'm trying not to say things that are words that aren't original. Like, it's a lot to take in. And at first when you hear that, you want to reject that. That's something like that very commonly, like if you say things like that to a Christian, they'll reject you, quite honestly. So let's see, what is the portion today? It is T42. And I'm always butchering the pronunciation. I think it's Matot and Masai, or Masi, something like that. And it means tribes or journeys. And now I'm not going to really get into this too much just yet. I think what I'm going to do here is just explain what we're doing with the using AI. But this is the portion I'm going to look at in a little bit. Whoops, I think I closed the wrong window. Yeah, no worries. Let's actually, I can just probably put this here for now. And let's talk a little bit about the AI, because this is the area where I think there's going to be controversy, and there's going to be maybe even believers saying like, oh my God, this is so satanic. How could you do such a thing? And let me just kind of lay this out here. So what I'm doing, and I've been doing this for a few weeks now, and this started maybe 6 months ago, actually, my entire experimenting with AI. And I know I kind of came from the thinking that, oh my goodness, it's the devil. Well, guys, the reality is, and you maybe you've seen it in my description, AI is just software. AI is just the computer software. It's really a glorified search engine, and it's like the tools that you've already accepted. You've already accepted the computer, the phone, and you already realize that you can utilize those tools for good, or for evil, right? So you really are the master of what you're doing with these different things, right? You can use your, can you bring the water, the copper? So you can use your phone, you can look at naughty things online. I'm not going to say the words because my children are here. Or you can I see, I think that's Ryan in there. Hey, Ryan and Stacy, Shabbat Shalom. Good to see ya. So this is something I'm going to probably start doing here, because I'm having really an excellent time using AI. Anyway, so you can use your phone, right, to do wicked, to do evil. And just because I know without saying anything, Ryan, you know what I'm talking about, right? You can use your phone or your computer to do wicked and evil stuff, or you can decide to be dedicated to the word and to the way, And you can use it for what I'm going to start sharing on here, because this has turned into the most wonderful study tool. And I'm going to explain here exactly what I'm doing with this here now. So feel free, anybody that might watch this later or now, to argue. You'll more than likely you'll just be arguing with yourself, because I don't really do much arguing anymore. So here's what I'm doing with the AI. Now, I started to use a folder system. You may have heard the terms an AI agent, or basically you can get the computer to do work for you using AI. So you can set up AI to do tasks. People are doing all kinds of highly productive things with their AI. And I use it basically for, I've built a folder system where I have everything I'm working on, whether it be, like trading stocks and investment stuff, to all my content editing and all that kind of stuff. I document it and I save it into this folder structure. And what I can do is I can take AI and I can go back later and I can search. So basically what it means is all my projects, all my thinking, I've basically created a second brain, which is a very common thing now. This isn't any kind of new technology that I'm talking about. You can go on YouTube and you can search second brain, and this is all the latest rage when it comes to AI. But of course, people aren't using it for studying the word. They're using it for work purposes, productivity, that kind of stuff. So all my content is in there, right? Let me just give one example. So for my little Hey Joe channel, that's basically a hobby. I can go out and I can randomly make videos with my camera, with my 360 camera, right? Some people will plan their YouTube videos, right? Well, what AI allows me to do is go out and take random videos, and then I can feed the videos into the AI. I can put them in a folder, and I can tell Claude, which is what I'm using here, I can tell Claude to go and look at those videos, look at what's being shown in the video, and transcribe the video and look at what's being discussed in the video. And I can tell Claude to build me an edit document that my editor can use to make the video. And then I can send it over to Doodads, which is my my video editor. It's my wife's cousin, and he does a fantastic job. And he'll take the edit document and the video files, and he'll put it all together like a puzzle piece. This is just one thing AI can do. It can do anything. It can monitor all your stuff. It can help you create and be productive, right? So this folder system has all of that in there. Everything. I mean, anything I'm doing, creating, building, anything I want to remember. Another example would be my AI stack is in my folder system. So the AI knows what your technology stack is what I should say. So what computers I have, what apps I'm using, what I'm doing with it all is all in my tech stack, and AI can go and look at that folder. And for instance, this microphone is being shared between my input device for Claude, so I can talk to Claude. Instead of typing, I can talk to it. But it's also sharing the microphone with the broadcasting software that I'm using for streaming this video. So it knows my tech stack. It knows all my computers and my apps and everything. If I Because you might use an app and then 6 months later forget about it and then wonder how it works again. Well, now I can ask Claude to go and look at my tech stack and remind me, how does this app work? Okay, so Claude is my second brain. It has my information. So what I started to do, guys, was I started to use it to do my Torah studies. And I'm just going to tell you right now, it's the most wonderful, productive Bible Torah studies of the Word that I've actually ever had. So in the past, one thing that I've done that many people like me, whole Bible believers, right? We don't believe that the Old Testament is the Old Testament, for one. We don't refer to it as that. We refer to it as the Torah, which could be considered the first 5 books of the Bible, or the entire Old Testament could be looked at as the Torah. It's basically the first 5 books of the Bible, the prophets, and the writings. That's what is considered the Old Testament, but we don't look at it that way. We basically consider it the Old writings and the New writings. New Testament, Old Testament. For us, they work together. They witness one to another. Okay? The Torah is the foundation of Scripture. Everything in the New Testament is actually referring to and talking about the Old Testament. That's not something that's taught today. But, so the Torah portions are basically, you'll see here, it's a chunk from the first 5 books, a chunk from the prophets, and a chunk from the New Testament, which is in Hebrew the Brit Hadashah, or the New Writings. It's not in any kind of way, like I've had people basically reject me because I say I read the Torah portion, and somehow today in this day and age people think that's completely satanic. We're so much information is missing from, how should I say this? So much truth is missing today from a believer's understanding that it's really, really sad. But in no way is it bad to understand and study and know the Old Testament. That is a lie. That is a modern day misunderstanding, okay? It could be explained in a lot of different ways, but I'm going to jump back to what I was trying to discuss here. I'm surprised there's 5 viewers. If you feel like saying hello in the chat, welcome. Happy to have you here. Gonna start doing these live streams on Sabbath because I have such a wonderful Torah study with AI, and I'm gonna get back to what is actually happening with that right now. So I'll read through, and I'll do it audibly so it can be recorded in here, these different chunks of the Bible, and whatever thoughts come to mind about what I know about the Word, I can enter those into the AI. I can refer to this particular chunk of Scripture to the AI. AI understands me and how I believe the Bible. It knows that I am a whole Bible believer, that I'm not a Christian that subscribes to Christian doctrines, right? It knows that I don't keep Christmas, Easter. It knows that I don't, generally go to church on Sundays. It knows that I keep Sabbath. It knows that I keep the biblical feasts. It knows that I understand and want to know more about, like, Hebrew words, right? So when I talk to AI about what I'm reading, and it knows my understandings, and it'll go and pull Hebrew words. So I'm going to show that in a little while here if you stick around. I mean, it's up to You, I'm not sure. It says I have 2 concurrent viewers. 5 viewers checked in. And, I really didn't go live today to try to get a lot of views. I'd be surprised if there's any views. I'm not sure if Ryan and Stacy are still around, but for this beginning part of this, I really wanted to kind of share and help people understand, because I think a lot of times believers think AI is the devil. And, the computer in general is generally used for satanic purposes. That's not a secret. That's not a secret, guys. The world generally is doing satanic things and they don't know it, right? I tried to describe this the other day to a brother. I said, all music on the radio is satanic, unless it's specifically talking about the Word and the Father and trying to draw your attention and focus your attention in on the Word. If it's not doing that, then it's doing the opposite. And it's trying to draw your attention and your focus to the world. And that's in its basic understanding, that is satanic. It doesn't mean that I can't know some songs, and if I hear a song, my children notice that, how do you know that song? Well, I grew up in the world, and that was a song that I grew up with, so I know that song. But I don't go after that life. I don't sit and listen to the radio and put that into my head on purpose, right? But generally speaking, most of what people do today is satanic, and they don't know it. Their focus is the world. Their focus is not the Word and growing in the Word and character improvement and developing themselves to be someone who's full of integrity. Now, this started, and this was part of our topic today, and I was feeding this into AI here this morning for the beginning of today's Torah portion. My wife went to a funeral today. She's not home. It's just me and my children here are together. My wife is off at a funeral. And I if you can read this, you can read what I entered into AI. It's like the beginning thoughts of what I'm going to look at today. This is the Torah portion, as I stated. It's T42. Oftentimes, what I'm thinking about before I even start looking at the Torah portion, and people that know how this all works know that this is true. I was thinking about this man, and he had cancer. We have a connection because I had cancer, and Ryan knows, if you're still around, that I have a tumor, and I'm not sure if it's the old tumor or a new tumor, and I'm just trusting in Jan, going about my business to live clean and healthy and do alternative protocol that may or may not lead to successfully getting rid of the tumor. It doesn't really matter. But me and this guy, he was a pastor locally here in the Philippines. And I'll get back to the comments in a second because I don't want to do an injustice to this story. But this brother, I found out he was sick, and he had the thing, if you know what I'm saying, in his arm. When everybody was told they should get the thing in their arm, he had the thing in his arm. And people in this country are suffering because of the thing in the arm. And that's a whole nother thing. Let me try to stay focused. This brother, I tried to help him. I tried to give him some alternative treatment protocol that he could use to deal with the fact that he had cancer from this thing. And I prayed over him. I met him at the local 7-Eleven here, and I prayed over him. And he sensed that my belief was different because I used Yeshua instead of Jesus, right? They can be the same being or they can be a different being depending on what you believe about them. I'll leave it at that for now. But so I met with him, I prayed over him. Ultimately, he decided not to talk to me. He wouldn't talk to me anymore because of my differences in how I believe in the Bible. The Word. I'm trying not to say the Bible. Sorry about that. So, I tried to follow up with the brother after I met with him, and he didn't want to talk to me because of my belief and how my belief was different, right? And I think I'm not going to get into it now, but that's the story of that. My wife is at a funeral for this brother. I'm not there because we don't really want to expose our children to the whole funeral sort of process that's here in the Philippines, especially the part where you actually go to the funeral. It's a little bit more than what we want them to be exposed to. And so I started the day by talking with my children about integrity. And the whole entire purpose of the Word and studying the Word is to grow in His Word. And the sole focus of the two great commands, I would say, is to have integrity before Him, which is to keep His instructions and do what He says and understand Him and see that His instructions are protection and they are good for you. And ultimately the goal is to love them and do them out of love. That is what Jeremiah 31, Ezekiel 36, and the new covenant, or it more appropriately being called the renewed covenant, that's what that's about, right? The two great commands: love the Lord your God, love Yah with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your being, love your neighbor as yourself. And I immediately, when I say that, the next words that always come out of my mouth: love is not mushy feelings. Love is charity and commitment. You are committed to Yah. You are committed to yourself, so you know how to be committed to your neighbor and your brother, right? I am committed to Yah. I understand that His Sabbaths, His feasts, which are His holidays, which have been replaced by Christmas and Easter, and His clean eating instructions are very important to Him, and it is the way that we connect ourselves to Him. So the first great command, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might, is Sabbaths, feasts, and clean eating. Love your neighbor as yourself is everything else from Commandment 5 to 10. Commandment 1 to 5 pertains to loving Yah. Commandment 5 to 10 pertains to loving your neighbor as yourself. Those are the two great commands. Some would argue that commandment number 5 to respect your mother and father so that your days may be long, they would argue that that is part of loving your neighbor as yourself. I have a different view on that. I could explain it another time. But that is a gist here of what we're doing. So I'm entering into, and this stream is probably going to be more hours than you want to sit and look at my bald head. I don't know, because I'm probably going to do this all day. I don't know. And so I really don't check in, chime in. It looked like we had 6 views and maybe 2 people surprisingly are watching, and I don't know. Now I have a message here that says Salty Dog 72. Hey Joe, good to hear you again. Ryan actually turned me on to you a while back. You have an amazing story. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Um, uh, yeah. We can explore. Ryan is and was a good friend in America. We have not talked in quite a while. And we could, possibly do that at some point here in the future, definitely. And Salty Dog, yeah, hey, thanks for being around. I don't know that there's much to. I haven't been very active. I've been dealing with a lot. I've got a lot of content that I wanted to begin to share on this channel, and I mostly look at it like it's for my own benefit. Um, but you're welcome to come in and hang out and enjoy if you do. So I think I'm gonna take a little quick break here, use the bathroom. Anybody is welcome to hang out. So far, what I've done is feed in a little bit about integrity, a little bit about this, what I've got going on today. So, two things are happening. I'm building a journal in my folder structure with my AI, and I'm building a Torah portion study database that will be a lifelong study database. So in the future, I can go back and say, next year, I can revisit this particular Torah portion, T42, and I can reflect on what I thought last year, what I felt the connection between all these different chunks of scripture were. And you know how it works with the word. You always learn something new. You always see something new that you didn't see before. And what the AI is going to allow me to do is keep those things in my database so that they're never forgotten. I can point out what I learned this year, this week, in the Torah portion, and next year I can reflect on that and I can add the new thing. And over my life, I can carry this with me as a study tool, as a and if you stick around long enough, you'll see it pulls word meanings. So what we'll do next after I come back is probably jump into this numbers, and I'll share how I basically listen to some, and then when I have something that I'm thinking of, I'll stop and I'll add it in the AI so it's not lost. And then it will document and remember what my thoughts were if I see connections or whatever it might be. So this study might turn out to be a 12-hour study. I don't know, guys. I know nobody's going to sit around for 12 hours and watch this, but the goal is that maybe you will see the value in using AI in this way, and maybe you'll use it that way for you and your family. Because imagine having everything you think about, all your projects, everything you are, the person you are, and all your Bible studies documented, and one day you can hand them off to your children. What? That's what this is. And so I want to also, I know I said I had to go to the bathroom, but anyone that knows me knows that I talk a lot. Yah took away one of my vocal cords, probably to shut me up a little bit, but I still keep talking. I'm going to go to the bathroom, but no one understand this, that I lost my thought. Oh, is she in there? Oh, okay. Anyways, my daughter's in the bathroom, so we'll wait a little bit. We'll wait as long as we can. I am going to take a little quick break, though. Hang out if you like. I'm happy to see you guys here. I know it's getting late. What time is it? It's 10 or 11. Maybe it's 11 p.m. in Wisconsin. Not sure where Salty Dog is. If you're still here, there's 3 viewers in the stream here. Um, so maybe if you're still here, maybe comment. Let me know. And so I'm gonna continue to feed stuff in here, and I'll show you exactly how that works. And while I'm waiting for the bathroom, because my daughter's in there, I could probably just share that a little bit about that. So what I have, I use a Linux operating system, and so um, like with ChatGPT, you can use ChatGPT. This isn't just basic AI. I'm using what's known as Claude Code, and the ChatGPT variant that would be similar would be um, Codex. It's ChatGPT Codex. So what this is, excuse me, what this is, and tell me if I'm getting too close to the microphone, guys. If you could, I don't know, but so what I'm doing is I'm basically utilizing this software that I have to type in. Okay, so now I'm ready to add things into AI here. And I started a live stream today to share what we're doing with our Torah study into the AI. Now you see that things are misspelled, but AI knows exactly what I'm saying, and it will respond with intelligence, and it knows what I'm saying. So I am doing a live stream today, and I'm sharing how I use AI to study the word and how it benefits me and how it documents everything that I'm doing. So Claude, what I want you to do is I want you to respond, and I want you to expound just a little bit and share about what we're doing in these particular Torah portion studies, so that anybody watching can understand exactly how you are helping me study the word and document each study. Okay, so now it's going to go ahead and it's going to respond. So I'm going to use the bathroom real quick, and I'll be back just in a minute. Just hang tight if you want to see more. If not, thanks for stopping in, and we will see you, I guess, in the future. I'll be back in just a minute or two. All right, I'm back. And I don't know. I think what I might do, let's see what we got here. All right, Ryan says I sound good. Nah, I talk a lot. I do talk a lot. Although I'll be honest with you, one of the things that I'm learning here, I'm learning to be quiet, and I'm basically with the sole focus of not throwing my pearls before the swine. There's really no point to it anymore. I felt like a real strong desire to try to share the truth of the word with people, like, and make the argument in a sort of apologetic sort of style. I haven't been arguing with people for years. I mean, you're allowed and you're welcome to have your own belief, but I don't know. Over the last couple of years, especially since I've been here, it's really become evident that people just they have no interest in the truth. They have no interest in learning more, growing more. Now, I tried to explain this to a brother recently, and this will be something that I'll share here in the AI. So let me do that while I do. Let me start this. Okay. So recently, I shared with a brother about the idea that Yah, or God, right, is infinite. And I tried to explain this to him to get him to think like there's more growing and there's more learning to do from this concept. But he didn't, I don't think he really understood or didn't really have an interest in it. This was the explanation or the analogy that I tried to bring to him. I asked him, I said, is God infinite? And of course the answer is yes, because Christians are taught that, God's huge, he's infinite, there's no ending, there's no beginning, there's no end. So if that's the case, then the next logical thing is the idea that his teaching should never end. Right? It's not a stretch. And he thought for a second and looked at me and said, yeah. And so I said, his teaching is like an onion, right? You have layers that you're peeling back, but the layers never stop. So there should always be another teaching. There should always be something else that you can glean from, right? That's a term from the word, right? That's a very deep and important teaching and understanding for many different things about our Heavenly Father. Gleaning. This idea that we can go and pick up something of value that can sustain us. And so I said to him, so there should never be an end to the things we can learn from him. So you should always, as a believer, be searching for the next understanding. How can my spirit man be built up? How can I learn and grow more? And he looked at me and he said, yeah, but I could tell there was really no interest. It made sense to me, but he didn't have interest because he believes in the sort of doctrine that he's been given, and really Christian understanding sort of ends. It stops for many at I'm saved and I have salvation and that's it, really. They don't go on to pursue the lifelong pursuit of knowing the Father and being sanctified or being washed by His Word. And so I want to save this in the the database because this is really something good. So incorporate this into this week's thought process and understanding here before we even get into the Torah study. All right, so I stopped that. And you can see now I'm just going to feed all that into the AI. That's it. And this is everything. That's everything I said. And now this will go into my folder structure and it'll literally be there forever. And now the cool thing is that let's say between now and next year, I can just hold on one second. Between now and next year, let's say I change and my idea about this is different. And I realized what I thought last year was wrong. I got it all documented, right? I can go back in here and I can remember what I said. I can build upon it or I can correct it. And it can be documented forever. And then what I can do with these with this database of my studies is I can use it to harvest from down the road. If I want to build a teaching, if I want to make a message, if I want to create a video or a content, or if I want to, like, say I remember, oh wow, yeah, that Torah portion deals with that, and I want to share it with a friend, I can tell it, make a report in a PDF format, and I want to give this to so and so. I can do that. So it's unbelievable how beneficial this is. So my daughter's asking me something here, guys. So I'm gonna ask, what's up with her? What's up with you?
Can you remove the humidifier from my bed? Because me and Auntie want to play.
Okay. Well, she wants me to move the humidifier. We have it.
Play up in my bed.
Okay, she wants to play in her bed. All right, I'm going to mute for a second, guys. Like I said, this is going to be an all-day, all-night thing. I may actually pause for a little bit and come back. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Hang out if you want. You're free to go or stay or whatever. But I'm going to pause the microphone for just a minute here. Be right back. All right. So I think what I'm going to do here, I don't even know if anybody's still around. One viewer. I don't know. Maybe it's Ryan still. I don't know. Let's see what Ryan says here. He's asking where can we find this AI tool that you're using. So, I mean, it's all just available online, right? I mean, you can put it's on your phone, and probably you can Claude, which is this app here. Claude may not be on your phone, but ChatGPT is coming pre-bundled on most phones now. ChatGPT is right there, right? ChatGPT. And now I'll just give a warning, right? You're the master of this tool. These tools are brainwashed by the system. There's no doubt about that. These tools are designed to be satanic tools. There's no question about that. If you ask this tool about things that have to do with government, medical, educational, worldly things. You're going to get worldly answers. There's no question about that. If you use, well, I'll finish that thought. If you use them right for things that you're interested in, right? So if I feed this thing stuff that I perceive to be true about the word, it'll get to know me, and then it will frame its interaction with me according to what I believe and what I think, right? But if I go and talk to this thing about, getting this in the arm, right? And you know what I'm talking about? It'll give you all kinds of brainwashed, worldly information that we as believers don't believe in, right? If you come to this thing talking about the Bible, it's automatically going to default on a Christian narrative. So it takes a little while to build up its knowledge of you, and that's why I use the folder system before it actually understands I'm not a Christian, right? Even Torah people have a hard time understanding when I say that. I am a follower of the way. I am not a Christian. I don't keep Christian holidays. I don't follow Christian eating doctrine. I don't believe Christian doctrine in any regard. I follow the word. I believe what the word says. I don't believe what man says about any of that stuff. So I'm not a Christian. I don't hold Christian beliefs. And I'm not saying I don't follow or believe in Yeshua, Jesus. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Yeshua, Jesus, kept the Torah to be considered perfect, to be considered the spotless lamb. I follow his footsteps. He didn't do Christmas and Easter and all that kind of stuff. So I don't do that stuff. But this AI tool is biased in a worldly way. It takes a little while for it to understand you and to interact with you on your level, understanding you and knowing what you want and how you want to discuss things, right? So that's ChatGPT. It's super biased. It's super liberal. It is super brainwashed on almost everything. This is Claude. Now, these are two different companies. I guess this could turn into some sort of basic understanding of AI and how a believer can interact with AI and be safe about using AI, right? If you say AI is the devil, which most believers that don't really have a real understanding of what they're saying, that's what they would say. While they're scrolling on a phone, while they're on a computer, while they're using, Google to search the internet, right? AI is just a super, how do I put this? AI is a very, it's the next iteration, if you will, of a search engine. And it's all it is. It's a glorified search engine. It's really just nothing more than that at this point. It's not at the point where people are afraid that it's like, it's going to go and do anything. It can be used for evil. It can be used for wicked. The government right now is using Claude in its military campaigns over there in Iran. Yeah. It's got, I don't know exactly, but it has something to do with the planning and the execution of whatever it is that they're doing over there, which they're, if you want to call it a war, it's much deeper than that. It's not a new war. It's a war that's been going on for, I would argue, a couple thousand years. Um, that's a whole nother conversation to have about this, but Claude can be used for that. You can use Google to look for porn, or you can use Google to search for the best Bible study apps, right? So a believer that is saying, "Oh, AI is the devil and it's the Antichrist," and it's like anything else. If you're gonna say that and you're gonna be opposed to AI, then you better turn the TV off, throw it out the window, take your phone, smash it with a baby sledgehammer, take your computer, smash that, move out into the wilderness and don't have any electronics going on in your life at all, which you could argue maybe is like what the Amish believe in their most purest form, but they don't even operate like that anymore. So what does it say here? Ryan's saying, so the tool's online there, you can find it. And I am basically giving a tutorial. You can watch many videos on the basics of getting started, right? It's like anything else. You create an account, you log in. Like, I pay $20 a month for my usage of AI, which is plenty. I actually pay $20 for ChatGPT and Claude, and I'm very close to discontinuing my subscription to ChatGPT because it's so biased and so brainwashed. But it does have value when it comes to like utilizing it for computer purposes, right? You can use AI to help you use a computer at a very high level. So, for instance, I don't use Windows anymore because of all the spying and control measures that are being put into place on Windows. So I use Linux, and this is here Debian Linux. Linux is very difficult to use, but with the help of AI, using it to help me navigate through installing, and there's a lot more background usage in where you got to use like terminal, and you got to put code in and command prompts, and you don't have to do that with Windows. Windows is more user interface friendly. It's like Windows and easy selections, and everything is configured to just work easy. Well, Linux doesn't work that way. Linux, you need terminal, and you need to put in commands, and AI can help you with that, right? But to use AI, you can watch some basic videos. Then what you end up with is like, well, if you look on your phone right now, right? And, let's just say, here, let me give a demo of this real quick. Now, I can pull up ChatGPT on my phone, right? And let me see, here, watch this. Hello, today I want to study the most recent Torah portion according to 119 Ministries. Can you go and tell me what is this week's Torah portion according to 119 Ministries?
All right, so this week's Torah portion is Matat Maseh from Numbers 32 through 36:13. If you want to walk through it in the kind of detail 119 Ministries usually brings, we can go step by step, looking at the context, the Hebrew words, and the cross-references rather than just a quick summary. We can start with Numbers 30 and the laws about vows, since that sets up some important themes.
Oh, wow, that's great. I think I want to do some of that, but what I'm going to do is take a little break, and then I'm going to come back. So, what did you say again? The first chunk of that is so I can get my Bible ready and turn to those pages. What was it?
Sure thing. Start at Numbers 30, right at verse 2. That's where the portion kicks off.
Okay, so Numbers 30, verse 2. Okay, great. I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Then it's all there. Everything that was said, right on your phone. The problem with this is the phone app doesn't save everything in the folder system. So the folder system's actually easy. And I'm going to take a break after this. I'm going to end this for a little while, and then I'm going to come back later. So you can feel free, whatever, go to bed and check in later. I'm going to read the portion with my children. Then I'm going to come back later and I'm going to listen to it again. And I'm going to add my thoughts. And I'm going to save that for a different chunk. So I'll probably go live a little later. And then these videos will be available for review later. But you see what happens there, right? Now, you can take Claude, make an account, download the desktop app. If you want to save to a folder system, Claude knows how to build a folder system. It can do it for you, right? And you gotta sign up, pay for, in the pricing plan, you want to pay for a subscription. Then you want to get the desktop app. And then once you have the desktop app, right? This is how it'll look when it's fully opened. And you'll click on code, and there's a lot of videos online about this. YouTube is full. If you go on YouTube and just say, I want to make a folder system to save everything using my AI, there's videos about it, right? But you could go in here and set it up code. Then it knows right here, this is my folder on my computer. Claude knows how to go and look at your computer and save things to your folders. So you tell it, you make a folder, and then you tell it, I want to create a folder system, and I want to use it to study and save all my thoughts and all my projects and everything. And it's a markdown file folder system. And you'll start with one folder, and within that folder, I'll show you, you'll have, this is my workspace. All my stuff is in here, right? So I have my AI tech information, my biblical and truth information. I have all my content creation, right? I have multiple YouTube channels all within this folder. My Hey Joe, Filipino Joe, Escaping the West, my AI stuff, right? My documents are in here, which is very limited because that's something else. My lifestyle, I'm building an aquaponics system, my travel information, my health stuff has my cancer and some other stuff. My daughter was dealing with an eczema thing that I was helping her with. But the main stuff is the Bible and the content creation. And then I got quite a bit of trading stuff because I'm trading and studying trading and all that kind of stuff. So it can help you build this folder system. And when you utilize Claude, it goes into that folder and it saves things like instructions and memory, right? It goes back and it reads the instructions to see where things are in memory, and it pulls that stuff, and this is how you begin to use that. So if you're interested and you want to do that, I recommend Claude. ChatGPT is very biased. Claude doesn't do all this sort of ChatGPT will argue with you about everything. Like if you try to present, like, say, anti getting the thing in the arm, the shot, you know what I'm saying? If you talk about that in any kind of negative way in ChatGPT, it'll argue with you. Literally. About how this is proven and it's good and it's science and you should follow the science. we know this kind of conversation, right? We know this kind of understanding. That's the problem with ChatGPT. Claude doesn't really do that. It spends more time getting to know you and then talk to you in a relatable way that's a little bit more pleasant. But it also won't let you go off the reservation. It will. If you try to talk negatively about the getting the thing in your arm, you know what I'm saying? It'll push back a little, just not as much as ChatGPT. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna cut it from there. I appreciate you jumping in, and that's a little bit about how you can use AI to study and especially the Bible, the Word, and save all your studies. I'm gonna come back later with my actual Torah study. Check that out later if you like. Good to see you again, Ryan. Hope things are going well for you, man. I have prayed for you, and I know your situation, and I know a little bit about what you guys are still going through, and I know that there's improvement that still needs to happen in your situation, and I pray that that improvement can come, and that you will live and operate in a capacity that will allow this high level of integrity that our Heavenly Father expects to be a part of your life and flourish in your life. And so I do pray for you guys, and I wish the best to you, and it's good to see and hear from you. So I'm going to end this stream, and we'll jump back in a little bit later. And for now, shalom and shalom, Shabbat shalom, and yeah, we'll talk to you later. Take care.
Ta-da.
Yeah.